Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to discuss 5 important SQL questions which are most commonly asked in almost all interviews. So if you are preparing for the placements or you have interview scheduled, so you must prepare all these 5 questions very well because all these 5 questions are all asked in almost all the interview rounds. So make sure you prepare it very well. So now look at the questions. So the first question is difference between SQL and NoSQL. So this is very famous and important question because in any interview, if you sit in any interview, definitely they are going to ask you this question, difference between SQL and NoSQL. So now look at the answer. So you can answer it like this. So you can give 3 to 4 important differences. So for SQL, you can tell it's a relational database management system, which means that there is a fixed structure, table and rows in SQL, whereas in NoSQL, so it's non-relational database management system, which means that it doesn't have table and rows in it. The second example you can give, it follows ACID property. So SQL will follow ACID property, where A stands for atomicity, C stands for consistency, I stands for isolation, and D stands for durability. Whereas non-SQL will follow CAP property, where C stands for consistency, A stands for availability, and P stands for partition tolerance. And the third one is the schema is fixed in SQL. So SQL will have fixed or static or predefined schema, whereas in NoSQL there will be dynamic schema, which means that so in SQL, if you will see, there are fixed structure tables where they will have rows and column, where in NoSQL you don't have any fixed schema. It will be like JSON format. And the fourth one is vertical scalable. So what does this mean? So they can ask you give an example of vertical scalable and horizontal scalable. So you must prepare it very well. So vertical scalable means you are increasing the size in upward direction. Suppose if you have a machine of size, let's say 4 GB, so you are increasing it to 8 GB. So that is an example of vertical scalability. You are increasing the size, whereas in horizontal scalability, you are horizontally scaling, which means that you are adding the extra machines. So you are adding 3 or 4 different system of 4 GB RAM, like that. And in vertical scalability, you are just increasing the size. You are not adding any extra machine. Or if you are adding, you are increasing the capacity, not increasing the number of machines. Whereas in horizontal scalability, you are increasing the machines in horizontal fashion by adding more and more systems. So these are the important example of SQL and NoSQL. And you can also give the examples. So famous examples for SQL is MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle. These are the examples. You can remember 2 or 3 examples. Similarly, for NoSQL, you can give MongoDB, HBase, at least 2 examples if you give, that's sufficient. So these are the important examples you should give for SQL and NoSQL. Now coming to second question. So they can also ask you about SQL joins. So there are many types of SQL joins, but the 3 main important you can give, like left join, right join, and inner join. So if you look at this Venn diagram, left join returns record from the left table. So all the records from the left table. So it will return all the rows from left table and matching rows from the right table. So if you look at this common, this is the part which is common in table 2. So in left join, what will happen? It will return all the rows from the left table and only the matching rows from the table 2. That is left join. And in case of right join, it will return all the records from the right table. So it will return all the rows from the table 2 and corresponding matching rows from the table 1. So first it will return all the rows from the table 2 and it will match the common rows in the table 1, and it only will return common rows from the table 1. So you can look at this Venn diagram, it will be better understood. And the third one is inner join. Inner join will return all the rows which are common in both table 1 as well as table 2. So inner join will return the rows which are common in both table 1 as well as table 2. You can look at this Venn diagram. So this was about the joins, left join, right join and inner join. So you must tell them with the help of examples. Now third and most commonly asked question is SQL commands. So they can tell you to give examples and tell about different kinds of SQL commands. So there are mainly 5 kinds of SQL commands: DDL, data definition language; DML, data manipulation language; DCL, data control language; TCL, transaction control language; and DQL, data query language. And you should give example of each type. Like in DDL, you can give the example of create, drop, alter and truncate. These are the examples for DDL. And similarly, you can give example for DML, data manipulation language, like insert, update and delete; data control language, like grant, revoke; transaction control language, examples will be commit, rollback, save point; and data query language, select. So you must know all these 5 SQL commands along with the examples of different types. And in this, they can also ask you about difference between like drop and truncate command, alter command and drop command. So when to use drop and when to use truncate. So you must prepare it in all the directions, so they can ask you multiple questions from the SQL commands. Now coming to fourth question, SQL clause. So this is also very famous and important question. So mainly there are 3 types of SQL clause: group by, having clause and order by. So order by clause. So among all these, mainly mostly we will be using group by and order by. So what is group by? So group by is generally used to arrange identical data into groups. So in a table, if there are many identical data, so you can arrange them in a group using group by clause. Whereas having clause is used to specify search condition for a group or an aggregate. So it will be used to specify the search condition. And the third, that is order by, is used to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. So mostly group by and order by will be used. So group by will be used to arrange the data, common data, into groups, and order by will be used to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. So you should also know the use cases of this group by, having and order by. So they can ask you to write a query where you will be using group by or order by. So you must have some you must prepare some examples of group by, order by and having. So this was about SQL clause, and the last one is basic SQL queries. So they can ask you 2 or 3 basic SQL queries to write the SQL queries. So I have written all those important 10 SQL queries which is mostly asked in an interview in this sheet. So I have attached the link of this sheet. You can go through it and prepare it accordingly. So if you look at it, so the questions like second highest salary, customer who never order, duplicate emails, big countries, all these questions, all these 10 questions I have mentioned in this sheet. So you can go through it and prepare it accordingly. So all these questions are taken from lead code, easy questions. So mostly similar to these questions will be asked in an interview. So you must prepare it very well. And I will also attach the link of this doc in the description. You can go through it and prepare it very well. And if you are new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel, and thank you for watching.